Now, in a long-awaited response to a Western price cap, Russian president has signed a decree that bans the supply of crude oil and oil products to nations that impose the cap. According to the decree, the ban will come into effect from 1st of February and last for 5 months. The decree said the ban may be lifted in individual cases on the basis of a special decision from Putin.
Если ограничить цену нефти из России или других стран, установить какие-то искусственные ценовые потолки, то это неизбежно ухудшит инвестиционный климат во всей мировой энергетике. Затем спровоцирует усиление глобального дефицита энергоресурсов и дальнейший рост их стоимости. А это, повторяю, ударит в первую очередь по беднейшим государствам.
In early December, the G7, the European Union and Australia agreed to a $60 per barrel price cap on Russian seaborne crude oil because of Moscow's invasion of Ukraine. Under the cap, oil traders who want to retain access to Western financing must promise not to pay above $60 per barrel for Russian seaborne oil. Moscow's move is not expected to impede deliveries to India or China and other importers that did not join the price cap. The price cap that was introduced alongside the European Union embargo on seaborne deliveries of Russian crude oil is aimed to ensure Russia cannot bypass the embargo by selling its oil to third countries at high prices. However, Russia has said the cap will not affect its military campaign in Ukraine and expressed confidence it would find new buyers. Russia is the world's second largest oil exporter after Saudi Arabia, and any actual disruption to its sales would have far-reaching consequences for global energy supplies. We are now being joined by Matthew L. Wald, who is an energy and oil analyst as well as former energy correspondent at the New York Times. Welcome, Matthew.
Shivan, thank you.
We need to start right away. Now, Russia does not seem to be willing to compromise anywhere. What sort of impact do you feel this will have on the global economy?
It's a little hard to say. I don't believe anybody's ever tried to impose this kind of cap before or tried to have it enforced by the companies that move the oil. But I would take my cue from the oil traders, the oil markets, and they didn't move much today, which means they don't think it's going to have much of an effect. One reason is that many of these countries already severely limit or eliminate Russian imports. And also Russian oil on Tuesday was trading at a price below the cap. It was trading at $56. The cap is $60. I don't know where the price will be in February. This also $60 price is not much lower than what Russia was expecting in its budget. And as you said, President Putin, who is an absolute dictator, can issue waivers, exceptions whenever he wants. One interesting aspect is that this is a price cap on crude oil, but a lot of what Russia exports is not crude, it's refined product. And I don't know how refined product would be affected here.
Any specific nations you feel would be impacted more than others, and are we expecting more nations to agree to the cap? Anything that you can predict on that?
I don't know if more will agree. I don't think so, and I don't think it matters. I just don't think the cap is going to have a big effect. Obviously, countries that import oil, like India, could be affected, and most of the oil that moves to India does not move in Indian-owned tankers. It moves in Western-owned tankers, which in theory would be influenced by this cap, would lose access to the banking system, would lose access to Western financing or insurance. But this has never been tried before, so I don't know how it will play out.
So even though they are saying India and China will not be affected, there is a possible setback that India could face in terms of oil imports from Russia in times to come.
Well, it's possible. It's also possible that the cap is higher than what the market price is anyway, in which case it would all be irrelevant. We have to remember there's a war going on here, and in war, people will say things that will seek to bring them advantage. Obviously, Putin is trying to get political advantage by making this statement.
So it's more of a strategic move at the moment than a full-fledged step forward to take a certain decision for a good 5 months.
I wouldn't call it strategic. I might call it rhetorical.
Right. Thank you so much for joining in, Matthew. We'll be in touch.
Thank you, Shiva.
Right.